So the Carolina Panthers lost to the Dallas Cowboys 30-14, and the reason why this is such a devastating loss, their last 5 games have been one-score games. They defeated the New Orleans Saints by a point many weeks ago. They were in a very close game with the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost that game by a game-winning field goal to the Kansas City Chiefs. And then they almost defeated the Philadelphia Eagles last week. If Xavier Legette catches that football, they possibly win the game. So how did we get up to this point? You would think, hey, the Carolina Panthers would carry that momentum. They will go out there against the Dallas Cowboys. No Dak Prescott, no Trayvon Diggs. This is the win. Even Vegas, before the game even started, they had the Carolina Panthers favorite in a game for the first time in 33 games. And they laid an egg. I want to talk about the defense first, then I'll get into the offense. This defense is terrible. Cooper Rush had 3 passing touchdowns. He looked like Troy Aikman in his prime when he was winning those Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys. Emmitt Smith Jr., Rico, came out of nowhere. 150 rushing yards in the day, 6 yards a carry. They made the Dallas Cowboys like they were a Super Bowl contender this season, and they're not. But this was also a problem last season. Sometimes football just comes down to matchups. The Carolina Panthers, they don't match up well with the Dallas Cowboys right now because they can get after the quarterback. They can run the football at a high clip. Even without Zach Martin, they're just running the football down the Panthers' throat over and over and over again. And it's nothing the Carolina Panthers could do about it. And the same thing happened last week with Saquon Barkley. We saw the Kansas City Chiefs. They had a lot of momentum on the ground. Patrick Mahomes literally ran his way into field goal range, and no one was in sight of stopping him. There is no gap responsibilities. The edge pressure is not there. Rushing defense-wise, this is easily one of the worst rushing defenses in NFL history. They can't stop anyone on the ground. And when you can't stop teams that run the football, they're going to use time possession against you. They played into the Dallas Cowboys' hand. And I'm going to tell you how this porous defense went out there and it hurt this offense on their end. Because defense and offense, in certain situations, they go hand in hand. Coach EJ, they need to move off of him. I'm not saying this because he's a completely terrible coach as a defensive coordinator. Last season, he helped coach this defense up to be a top unit in the NFL. Even though last season they really couldn't stop the run, they were 26 in rushing. The problem that I have with a lot of Panther fans, when the Panthers were losing games earlier this season, they didn't want to blame Bryce Young. So everyone was pointing the finger at Coach EJ and saying, hey, his defense is terrible. He's the reason why. He's putting too much stress on Bryce Young. That's not true. The reason why this defense is bad is, yes, he's a bad defensive coordinator this season. He's not making those many adjustments. But look at this defensive talent and lack thereof. Jadeveon Clowney is your best pass rusher. You're in trouble. And I don't want to hear you in the comment section. Jadeveon Clowney can ball. No, he can't. Jadeveon Clowney is an overrated pass rusher. This has been the case every single year. This man got to play with J.J. Watt. When he was with the Houston Texans, J.J. Watt at the time was the best defensive player in the NFL. Jadeveon Clowney is getting a lot of one-on-one looks. He can barely get to the quarterback. Last season was a very good season with the Baltimore Ravens. For one, they let him basically go out there and play with the backups to hit a contract incentive. So he got 9.5 sacks on the season. That's number one. Number two, he played in a loaded defense with a great defensive coordinator with Mike McDonald and the Baltimore Ravens. Don't believe me? Look at Geno Stone right now with the Cincinnati Bengals. The man had 7 interceptions last season. Now he only has 1. A lot of those players that played in the Baltimore Ravens defense last season, that are no longer there, they're not having big time production with their brand new teams. And Jadeveon Clowney is one of them. Great story, Carolina kid. He's not that great of a pass rusher. So when he's your number one guy, you're in trouble. DJ Wonnum, he's a better pass rusher than Jadeveon Clowney. The problem is this with DJ Wonnum. DJ Wonnum can't stay healthy. So you know what you have to do in the NFL draft. You know what you have to do through free agency. Bring in some edge rushers. Bring in some defensive help. Get some help up front. And it's not going to always just be on Derrick Brown. When Derrick Brown comes back, this entire defense will look different. That can be true, but you're depending on one player. Everyone should come in and help. When one man is just doing his job, that's a problem. Everyone else has to fill in the gaps, stop the run up the middle. And when I look at Derrick Brown, he's one of the best defensive tackles in the game. He's missed majority of this season, dealing with a torn meniscus injury in his knee. Hopefully when he does come back, this defense will be better, but you need more than just him. When I look at the interior linebacker spot, Trayvon Wallace, there's high upside there, but upside isn't going to get you paid. You need to start producing now, and I feel bad for him because he's not supposed to be in this situation. Shaq Thompson tore his Achilles. Last season, he had a teammate slam another player on his leg in the Saints game. So these are back-to-back years. He hasn't been able to stay fully healthy on the field. Not the first injury wasn't on him. That was on his teammate being stupid. But I look at Shaq Thompson, the writing's on the wall. The linebacker spot has been a problem with the Carolina Panthers since Luke Kuechly retired. Let's just be honest here. And Josie Jewell, no, he's not solving that problem. You need to go out there and fix this entire defense. This defense last season was not this bad, but you have so many star players that are no longer with this defense anymore. You traded Dante Jackson to the Steelers for Deontay Johnson. Look at how that worked out. Deontay Johnson, you basically traded him to the Baltimore Ravens for little to nothing. You moved off of Deontay Johnson. He had a lot of drops. He was an okay 50-50 ball wide receiver. He just was not the game changer you were looking for at the wide receiving position. You basically went over there, gutted your defense to help out your offense. So you knew this defense was going to be a problem. And what a lot of Carolina Panther fans try to say is, well, Coach EJ got to pick his own players. Half of that is true because Josie Jewell got to play with him when he was with the Denver Broncos, but DJ Wonnum was with the Rams. DJ Wonnum wasn't a part of this entire game plan until later in free agency. Jadeveon Clowney, it's the reason why no one else was trying to go out there and sign him as a top free agent. He was not in the same conversation with the top tier free agents in the class. He was still sought after by teams like the Los Angeles Chargers and the New Orleans Saints, sure. But they didn't want to go out there and give him a 4 to 5 year deal. It's the reason why he only signed a 2-year deal with the Carolina Panthers. So when I look at this situation, you have a bunch of players, expiring contracts, move off of these veterans, bring in some new blood. It's going to take some time to get this defense fully acclimated with a brand new defensive coordinator. But right now, the Panthers are still in a rebuild mode. And I'm not going to come on here and say, throw out Bryce Young, throw out Dave Canales after one game. The last 5 games, they were special. They found a way to go out there and compete. Today, it was more so of what they did early on this season. Now let's talk about this offense. Remember how I said the defense was going to go hand in hand with the offense in this matchup? You played into the Dallas Cowboys' hands because when they can run the football at a high rate, and when you can't run the football because the defense found a way to go out there and stop Chuba Hubbard, he only averaged 3.2 yards a carry in this matchup. And majority of the success that has come from the Carolina Panthers on the offensive end has been from Chuba Hubbard this season. You play into their hands. The Cowboys love when a team can't go out there and run the football. Mike Zimmer, they pin their ears back with Micah Parsons, Mizzie Smith, and the rest of the crew. They come after you. And that's what happened in today's game. Don't believe me? Look at what they did to the Washington Commanders many weeks ago. Look at what they did against the New York Giants on Thanksgiving Day. When you can't run the football on a team that plays off of finesse and speed, and they can get to the quarterback with at least one player on a consistent basis, you're in trouble. And they were in trouble from the first quarter all the way into the fourth quarter. Bryce Young did not play well today. He had 2 interceptions. He got sacked 6 times, and he had some fumbles in this matchup also. The defensive pressure shocked the hell out of me because from tackle to tackle, this offensive line has been one of the better units in the NFL. The Cowboys found a way to go out there, confuse him at the line of scrimmage, confuse Bryce Young, and to give him different looks with their defensive line. And they were walking Micah Parsons. Bryce Young's trying to check protection. He's trying to check the pressure. It was too much. They dealt with this last year when they went against the Dallas Cowboys. They ran back the same defensive scheme and the same defensive system. And it got to them over and over again. And it overwhelmed Bryce Young. And it made him look like how he looked in week 1 and week 2. That's what led him to getting benched, was getting shell-shocked. Now, this game was not all on Bryce Young, but he didn't play well. This offensive line, this was their worst outing all season long. They got dominated by the Dallas Cowboys front, another team that has struggled to stop the run this season. And when you look at the wide receivers, besides Adam Thielen and Jalen Coker, no one else stepped up. Jalen Coker had a huge play that went for 83 yards, and that went for a touchdown. He had 4 catches, 113 receiving yards on the day. Adam Thielen was very frustrated on the sideline. 5 catches, 51 receiving yards. You like to see the passion out of Adam Thielen because he really cares. He hates losing. You see him over there, he's slamming his helmet. He's very upset because Bryce Young missed him on 2 key passes, but it wasn't on Bryce Young. Micah Parsons is in his face. At least he saw Adam Thielen and he was trying to get the football to him. This was on the offensive line and on the defensive line. That's why they lost this game today. I could blame Dave Canales also because they came out flat. They came out unprepared. They really overlooked the Dallas Cowboys. No disrespect. The Carolina Panthers can't overlook anyone because you're still one of the worst teams in the NFL over the last 4 years. I'm just keeping it real. Even though you went out there and you played teams close the last 3 to 4 weeks, you still didn't find a way to win those games. You still lost. Moral victories, you can say those are a thing. They're going out there, they're building confidence. You can see Bryce Young dancing on the sideline. You like to see that. And you like to see them head into that trajectory. But if you're a Panthers fan, I'm not saying go out there, forget about the team. It's going to be like this for the next 2 to 3 years. No, you win against a team with better coaching today. You win against a team that played better and, quite honestly, just a better football team today. That doesn't mean what the Carolina Panthers have done in the last 5 weeks. You get an eraser and you just get rid of it. You don't do that, because if that's the case, every time a team will lose, you just do away with them. When the Green Bay Packers, when they just lost to the Detroit Lions, that means they're no longer a Super Bowl favorite. You just can't do that. It is a week-to-week league. What happened in today's game was very upsetting to see the Carolina Panthers lose that way. But Bryce Young still has some nice throws. He still went through his progression. The offensive line, it was rare. They still have some good moments. This is still a rebuilding team. They're trying to figure things out with a rookie head coach. They just went against a coach in Mike McCarthy who has found a way to go out there and make the Dallas Cowboys be a top-tier team in the NFC in the regular season. The only thing with Mike McCarthy is the postseason. But I was more shocked by how bad the defense was today and the lack of adjustments that Coach EJ made. And I shouldn't be surprised. For whatever reason, he hates to have J.C. Horn travel around. CeeDee Lamb, for the ones that don't know, he's a slot wide receiver, but he can play on the outside. You're not going to put J.C. Horn inside the slot because he's not a slot cornerback. And the reason why, most cornerbacks in the NFL, they're not meant to play inside the slot. That's why a lot of those guys are primarily slot cornerbacks. They primarily play nickel defense. But you could put roll coverage on CeeDee Lamb. He didn't even try to do that. And basically what roll coverage is, you give your slot cornerback some help. You put the man in double situations so everyone else on the field can beat you. They didn't do that. They let CeeDee Lamb beat them repeatedly. They let Rico go out there and beat them over and over again. I thought for a fact they were going to put Jonathan Mingo in the game. He was going to get a receiving touchdown. Similar to what the Chicago Bears did to the Carolina Panthers a month ago when Caleb Williams kept getting DJ Moore the football and Michael Jackson was covering him. Now, DJ Moore is he's primarily an outside wide receiver with the Chicago Bears. Situations like that is to why Coach EJ should be fired. You have to put your best cornerback on your best wide receiver. I'm sorry. That comes down to coaching. The players do have to step up. They do have to play, but your job as a coach is to put your players in the best situation. And when I look at this defensive line, there is no help for this defensive line. There's zero. Without Derek Brown, they're done for. It's only 3 games left into the regular season. I expect for the Carolina Panthers to go out there and finish strong, of course. I don't see them getting blown out in the next 3 games like how they got blown out in today's matchup because the Cowboys came out. They were also pissed off of what happened on Monday night. It's going to be okay if you're a Panthers fan. You have a long ways to go. This is not a team that's a contender in the NFC. The Detroit Lions went through this with Dan Campbell. We've seen the Philadelphia Eagles go through this with Nick Sirianni. It happens. You go out there, you get blown out by a team, you get beat up, especially against a team you thought you would have had a win against. But remember, this is football. Any given Sunday, upsets happen, blowouts happen. It is what it is. No one expected for the Carolina Panthers to be competitive against the Kansas City Chiefs. No one expected for the Carolina Panthers to be in a close game with the Philadelphia Eagles. So even though this was a bad week, please don't let this one loss go out there and make you forget about everything that happened the couple weeks before. I still like Bryce Young. Let him figure things out. But today's game was embarrassing. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about the Carolina Panthers moving forward? And how do you feel about this loss? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, when each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.